Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a good hour. In the next session, which is Pitches of Industry to ESRs, we will have a chance to listen to 13-minute long elevator pitches introducing a variety of interesting biotechnology companies with possible career options for PhD graduates. I have one small reminder to make sure that you can see presentations in full screen. Please use the view option. There is this view button, and the best one that I would suggest option is side-by-side option. Then you will see these presentations in full screen and how they should be seen. So thank you in advance. During this session, we will use the interaction platform, which is called Slido, and the information about how to connect you can see in chat. That is one thing. I would suggest please go to slido.com, or if you are using your phone and you think maybe it's easier for you to do that, feel free to scan this QR code, which you can see on this screen, and then you will find the link and you can go into this Slido interactive app, or you can write in this hashtag Alliance for Life Actions, and then you will find the necessary program. Also, please remember that during this session, you can use Slido to write questions. That is very important. You can write questions for our speakers, and we will try to answer all of them after each presentation. Please let us know, however, which speaker you would like to address the question to. Right now, however, I would like to ask you some questions. I hope you have opened Slido right now. And during this session, you will see 3 questions from us. So let's try and see and answer the first question. And the first question is, what qualities do you think industrial partners value the most for their employees? And I would suggest choosing 3 out of the following: scientific competence, communication abilities, leadership, agility, efficiency, accuracy, and readiness to work overtime. Oh, I see people are already answering this question, which is very, very nice. Efficiency comes in the lead right now, but I will look at the answers in a few minutes. So I will give you time to answer this question in this Slido platform. But now let's start our 13-minute pitches, and our first speaker, who will tell us more about the industry that they work in and also possible career options for PhD graduates, is Diana Ratkeviča. She is head of research and development at JSC Grindex. Hello, Diana. Nice to meet you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Diana Ratkeviča. I'm really head of research and development department and just company Grindex, and I will share with you a short presentation about our company. Okay, so I cannot switch it now. Grindex is a Latvian company located in Riga and have affiliates in different countries. We produce both active pharmaceutical substances and final dosage forms. We export our products to a lot of countries, almost 100 of them. Today we became a world-class pharmaceutical company, and our aim is to improve people's lives and make health solutions accessible for our patients. As any other company, Grindex has its mission, vision, and values. Probably the main message there is that we want to grow, to use modern technologies. We are looking for right people for good ideas to join our team, and we wish that our products help people to improve quality of their life. So we have 3 main values here: humanity, simplicity, and growth. So solutions should be simple enough to implement their life, and we want to grow, we want to improve our technologies and our sales. The company is 75 years old. We started as a vitamin hormones plant, and we have had our good times and bad times, as every company does. However, we already tried to get better, get more product development, get new technologies, new skills, and new knowledges. We always try to reach better compliance in GMP question. We acquired new affiliates, started to work with more dosage forms that was previously learned how to register in different countries and how to launch product in new markets. So there is all our story of our development, but it's not finished right now. So we develop, we grow, we continue to grow. Joint company consists of 5 separate companies located in different countries. So main company is Grindex, located in Latvia, and having not sterile and non-sterile oral solid dosage form and topical forms. And company Grindex supports and maintains the general strategy of development for all the companies in the group. Then we have Calsec that mainly is dedicated to sterile forms and performal activities in outsourced companies. We have Tallinn pharmaceutical plant located in Estonia and mainly producing topical forms. As well, we have HBM Pharma located in Slovakia and produces both sterile and non-sterile forms. And then we have a big representative office in the Grindex rules in Russia that just perform activity in this region for us. And well, one company more for real estate services, other target. To maintain our business and to maintain sales and distribution, we have a lot of branches and representative offices. We see here the current situation, but we are planning to open a lot more representative offices in different regions, which is important for us, for our sales, for our development. So it's important segment in our business right now. So to sell products in different countries, we need a lot of certificates, a lot of authorizations, a lot of recognition from different regions. So all these years since Latvia became a member of European Union, we have been certified and have a license from European Union authorities, from Latvian authority, state authority. As well, we hold Food and Drug Administration approval for many of our active substances that we produce for international market. Russia and other post-Soviet Union countries are our historical market. We want to enter other markets, but we want also to keep this market as well. So we are certified from Russian authority as well. We got the certification from the new Eurasian Union recently, and we have we have had a lot of other different inspection like Japan PMDA and Saudi Food and Drug Administration. So all that help us to develop business in different countries and sell products there. As well, we are ISO certified company that help us in different fields of our activities and help us with our work with customers. So you can see here that our turnover of financial years hasn't finished yet. So we talk about figures that it's depend to another year, but you see that our turnover is growing, and no one company can stand in place, can keep just success that it's reached already. So we need to grow, we need to develop new product, we need to go to another market to support our development in general. As well, in the previous pictures, there wasn't counted the activity that is done inside the company when, for example, one affiliate produce API for another company, and then this company produce final dosage form. So it's additional turnover that is not shown in the previous picture. So company is growing, and we try to be successful inside internal comparison between the companies. Our goal is to become one of the world top 100 pharmaceutical companies. It's not our caprice. It means that we want to have turnover and profits that help us to create new products, to hire right people, to have possibility, opportunity to create better products for supporting health, some people life, to contain better quality product, innovative product, to have better equipment for our production, to have more qualitative product. So it's our main target, and we go for that all the time. So there are 4 major strategy development direction that we have right now. So we, as every company, we have short-term and long-term strategy of development. Here we present short-term development because, of course, we have a lot of other goals that are already fixed, and we are already thinking and going through them. So we want to increase amount of active pharmaceutical ingredients that we produce right now for our products and for sale. So now we have a lot of new molecules in our development. We want to develop a lot of new final dosage form generics and also brand generics product. And we want to expand our sales also in European Union countries and new for us market where we haven't been presented before that. So it's US, Canada, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. And of course, for ensuring these sales, we need bigger capacity of manufacturing. We need bigger capacity of quality control. So we are going to expand our production lines in Latvia, in Slovakia, in Estonia. As well, we are going to build new plant in Latvia, and it's already in project study. So, and also one of our subsidiary company, Calcex, we also are going to expand its activity. Main therapeutic groups that we produce right now, it's cardiovascular, drugs for central nervous system, anti-cancer, diabetes, and also we produce a lot of products for hospital segments. And here you see capacity that we can do now, right now. But in the close future, we will not be able to cover all our registered product and demand for all the markets. So we use outsourced companies and produce validation batches and new products in outsourced companies. And until we build new plant, we will use this service as well. Green desktop products are mildronate, Somnol, Epigrix, lenalidomide, Viprasal, Capsicum, Sulfaragen, Oxagrix, Oxytocin. Every of these products have its own success story, and Green Desk has 2 brand products and a lot of generics and a lot of registration across the world. For many of mentioned products, we produce also active ingredients to make our business in general. Calcex main product are more related to hospital business. There's a lot of molecules that we produce in-house, so making, making less risk for production, less risk for supply for patients. So we so care about how it will be in the market. Production of active pharmaceutical ingredients, we have about 25 active substances in routine production, so that we sell across the world, not only in Europe, really in a lot of countries is supplied these products. And now in development, we have about 35 new molecules, and majority of them will be used in our final pharmaceutical forms. You can see that the main profile of our company comes from final dosage form, but and just 6% of that is from active pharmaceutical ingredient, but that's just because we have these active pharmaceutical ingredients in our final dosage form. So then we calculate them in this 93%. So no, so other businesses, so it's exist. Here you can see a big list of countries where we export our products. So it's good for business. It's not so easy to maintain our quality system or different requirements that exist in different markets. And you also can see the market share in this slide then. What is our significant achievement? We finished some clinical study last year, so we could ensure our manufacturing with our raw materials. We could continue our business, and we submitted 10 new products last year for the registration, big DCP registration through all the world. So we have not so many in place. We are looking for good, clever people here. Probably the characteristic of our countries, we want to hire people with higher education. We need clever people here. Key priorities: health and safety, environmental protection, ethics, and contribution in social development. Of course, we are part of society, so we do a lot of things for society. We take part in different events in our country and through the world. In our R&D, probably that may be more interesting, we do API synthesis. We produce generics and brand generics product. We have wet granulation, drum granulation, direct compression technology. We can produce topical form, and we have a lot of analytical equipment standard for development laboratory. So thank you for your attention. I see that time is out. So you can ask your question about our company, and we always are looking for clever, good people to join our team and to help us to reach our goals. Thank you very much.
Diana, thank you very much for this presentation and overview of Grindex company. We have one question that we would like to ask you, Diana, in Slido. The question is, according to info on the web page, Grindex has recorded all-time high sales and profits. Does the result have anything to do with COVID pandemic?
No, of course, I think that it's not related just to COVID. So I think the main thing that we have big changes in our management. So our management develops strategic plans for short-term development and long development. And now we just try to do incredible things to just reach our goals. So in current moment, I think that it's more changes in our style of work and how to say, and entering into new markets and entering into and doing new presentation. We have new products, so we just continue to learn about our business and continue to try to reach our goals.
Thank you for this. Another question is, what is strategic development focus of your product portfolio for the next couple of years? So strategic development focus for the next couple of years.
Okay, you have seen the slide where I put the groups of medications that we want to develop. Of course, it's not exclusive, so we have also another little group that we also will develop and create. However, not only generic products is focus of our interest, we will develop also brand generic product. And we are thinking about biological product, but it's still not clear what direction we will take in the future. But however, we appreciate new ideas that come from new people, because biologic manufacturing is planned to be built as part of new manufacturing that we will build soon.
Diana, once again, thank you very much. I think we have learned a lot more about Grindex during this presentation. Diana Redkevich, Head of Research and Development at JSC Grindex. Thank you, Diana. Now we have to move on, and our next speaker is Andis Šlaitas. He is CEO of Latvia MGI Tech. Hello, Andis. So welcome. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Very good, thank you. Yes.
Great. I'll show you something about and try to tell you something about the company that I'm working at. And fantastic. Yes, I'm from company MGI or the branch in Latvia called Latvia MGI Tech. My name is Andris Slaitas. And basically, since the time is quite limited, I'll try to answer 4 questions today. What is MGI? What does MGI do? Why work at MGI? And how to get on board. And I hope that I'll succeed in my mission. Right, so MGI is a global company and is known for manufacturing machines like this. So these are genetic sequences, and the machine you see on the left has a list price of 1 million euros. We also produce a lot of other instruments, mostly for genetics, for sequencing, but also for other purposes. And so this is what MGI does globally. It produces instruments. But if we, here's another interesting example of instrument that is used both for sequencing library preparation, but also for COVID sample treatment prior to actual diagnostics. So this is an automation instrument. So if we're speaking about MGI in Latvia, so there are some functions. It's not a single function. And first and foremost, it's the largest sequencing center in the region. And the region, I mean, perhaps up to and including Germany. So it's quite a range. We have a customer excellence center that we're expanding and building. I'll tell a little bit more about that later. We have field application scientist and field service engineer training centers. It's an instrument spare parts warehouse for the whole EU and Africa market, and also a sequencing kit manufacturing plant and holding the ISO 13485 accreditation, which is medical devices. Just to sort of go into a bit more specifics, what we do here is, of course, we work with 2 main roles or two main sort of tasks. One is the DNA or RNA isolation automation. So this is the first step that has to happen before a biological sample can be sequenced. So the DNA or the RNA has to be extracted from the samples. And we have a lab, we have built a lab locally here near the airport that can process up to 10,000 samples per day and perhaps more. And the other is genetic sequencing. And we sequence all kinds of applications. I mean, the whole genomes and then sort of parts of it, such as exomes, and we look at metagenomes and transcriptomes. And the good sort of figure is that last year we have generated over 2 petabytes of data. So that's 2,000 terabytes of data in just last year. So when we speak about projects or activities that we do, that scientists do at MGI, so these are external projects, both local and international, and these are research projects sponsored, for instance, by ERDF or Horizon or similar fundings. And we have been successful in attracting over 3 million euros in funding in the last couple of years. And we have approximately 15 people engaged in various research projects, and that's a little bit more than 50% actually. And if we look at what actually these subjects are, so it can be rare genetic diseases or microbiome research that is very popular. Obviously, COVID's been a focus. We also look at population genomics and genome-based toxicology models, etc. Then, of course, there are internal R&D projects, and these are aimed at developing either new applications for existing instruments. So we have, as I mentioned, our own instrument base. Or actually what we see is the existing instruments or reagents cannot solve a problem, well, then we invent new instruments. And finally, of course, we realize that it is difficult to attract people with just the right set of knowledge and sort of education. So we train employees ourselves, but we train not only employees, we actually train customers. So customers have an ability, while they're deciding if they want to buy an instrument or not, they can come over and they can actually work with the instruments, get trained while they're applying for the budgets. So why is it sort of interesting to work at MGI? Well, first of all, it's a really fast-growing company. And if you see at that little graph on the right, you can see we've managed actually to double the number of employees every year since 2017 when we started. Well, I don't think the trend's going to continue forever, but it has been a very rapid growth, and I believe that 50% of our staff are actually lab and R&D and sort of science related or engineering related employees. We have an excellent benefits package, I think, which is not very common in this sort of part of the world. We have, at least at the moment, we have free lunches, and because of the extra situation, people are allowed to take taxis to go to and from work. That's just to be on the safe side and not contract something in the public transport. So. If that all sounds very exciting, I mean, the question might be, how to get on board, how to get to work at MGI, and you might be surprised by the answer, but the answer is actually you apply. And we have a wide range of platforms that we advertise positions. Most of these are Facebook, LinkedIn. And for instance, here is a recent application that may or may not be published even. So we're looking for a field application development intern. So, but in any case, if this seems something that might interest you, there's an email you can write, mgi.lv@mgitech.com. And it doesn't have to be that we're looking for this specific talent at the moment or right now, but we can still, of course, we'd be very, very happy to receive applications. So just to show you that this is real, there's some live pictures. As I mentioned, we're located near the airport at a facility called Lidosta Sparks. The same facility houses Printful, and a bunch of other companies. So this is a very new building, as if I believe correctly, it was 2 years ago that it was commissioned. So it's really brand new. We have state-of-art labs. I mean, these are again these are younger, of course, than the building. So some of them are a little over a year old, and as you can see, they're real people working in them. We have, of course, instruments, our own instruments. As I said, half of the work is connected with automation and sample treatment. This specific machine, actually, that you can see, what it does, it handles COVID test tubes, and instead of doing the sample withdrawal by hand, the machine does that for you. So it actually unscrews the vials, takes a sample, scans the vial barcode, screws the top back on and puts it in its place, and sort of this allows to very, very fast processing. So there was LTV1 and TV3 story about our machines in Bior and also at the infectology center. So it helps make things quicker. The team, as I mentioned, has grown. The team is international. We have people obviously from Latvia, and we have people from China, and then we have people from India and Spain and Germany and so on. There's of course the permanent staff, and then there are people that are either visiting scientists, interns, and so on. So that's briefly, I hope I gave you an insight into what MGI does. Of course, it's a very short time to tell all about it, but I hope I succeed, and I believe I am on time.
Hans, thank you very much. I believe you succeeded as well. You had also 2 minutes left for your presentation. So thank you for your presentation. I noticed that, and it is quite amazing actually, that you have doubled employees each year since 2017. So that's quite impressive. Okay, Anders, we have a question for you. Could you please describe the career opportunities at Latvia MGI Tech?
Well, I mean, since as I showed, the company has a wide variety of functions. You know, the career paths could be different. It could be scientific, it could be administrative, it could be logistics, it could be production. So most of the people that work are quite young, and they have a growth opportunity. Since also MGI is located in other parts and is expanding in Europe both and worldwide, I mean, there is also an opportunity to grow outside Latvia.
Okay, Andis, truly, thank you very much for this presentation. Once again, I think we have learned a lot more about Latvia MGI Tech. Andis Slaita, CEO of Latvia MGI Tech, was our previous speaker. Now, before we go to our next speaker, I would like to see what are the most popular answers to our first question in Slido. And the question was in this platform Slido: what qualities do you think industrial partners value the most for their employees? And here you can see the most popular answers, and efficiency is one thing that comes in first. 73% of our viewers have answered this one. Scientific competence is the second, and communication abilities. I think I would agree that these all three are quite important. Readiness to work overtime is the last one, and agility, 13%. Viewers, thank you very much that you have answered the first of our Slido questions. Once again, I can tell you that if you didn't go onto this platform, then you can write slido.com and you can join this Alliance for Life channel, and you can ask questions to our speakers in this session and also answer our questions. But our next question will be in a few minutes after a few speakers, and I will tell you which is the second question. Now let's go to the next speaker in this session of industry pitches to ESRs, and it is Stefan Goldenbaum. He is CEO of Solis Biodyne. Stefan, hello and welcome, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation and the opportunity to speak here. Also welcome to all online to speak here about life after PhD. I thought a little bit about what does that mean, and went back a couple of years, or quite a few years, I have to say. I didn't do my PhD for several reasons on my own, but still have a scientific background, where I said, look, what to do with my PhD after I finished. And yeah, I mean, you have several options. As I said, I was a long time ago also confronted with the decision, what do I do after my scientific studies? And let's say I try to be a little bit more encouraging than our professors at this time, which were quite mind-blowing. I will also share that in a bit. But I mean, there were a lot of options on the table to stay in research, to follow a teaching career, doing your own business, but at the age of 24 this is a very bold move, probably for most of the scientists, or to choose any kind of other field, product development, sales, or something completely different, which was, from my perspective, and I had the luck to be in an environment where I had very, very good mentors and also people who encouraged me. And that's also a little bit what changed when we talked about this. And I agree to what was said by Grindex and MGI already. The world has changed a lot, 20 years and 25 years. That's why I said I wanted to share this also a little bit. A couple of our professors, when they saw our bunch of biologists and scientists, they came in, and instead of encouraging and also giving us some inspiration, they were just looking into the round of people and into the crowd that were sitting in front of them, and were telling, 80% of you guys can be glad if they have a job at all, right? And maybe 10% will have a very decent job, and a couple of you will never find a job when you proceed a science background. And at this time, that was from a young student perspective, not really encouraging, as I said. Nevertheless, a lot has changed, and a lot of needs have changed in the market. What you have heard with the previous speakers in the beginning, the demand for researchers, scientists, or people with a scientific background is actually very, very high in different industries. And from that perspective, this really is also what I just can encourage you to look into your own personality. What are you striving for? What are you interested in? Just because you chose a scientific background, or you did your PhD, doesn't mean you need to stay in the science field. There are many ways to apply your scientific background at the end of the day. And important for you, also based on thanks Martin for sharing this little Slido poll before. One big thing that is certainly important also from my perspective to share here is certainly also your willingness to adjust and adapt. And this is what employees, what companies, doesn't matter if that is an MGI or a pharma company like Grindex, or also we at Solis, we certainly also value and rate very, very high candidates. Yeah, how are you able to adjust, to adopt? Because when we are moving from the very, very basic research environment into the economical environment, we have to start giving up projects every month. Yeah, this is what we do. Some projects, they will become reality, and they will become new products and new ideas that will pay off and will pay our bills at the end of the day. Most of our projects, we also need to sit down and say, look, we have to be realistic with ourselves. How do we end this, or how do we at least get something positive out of it? That's also then handing over a bit about my background. As I said, you don't have to stay in the scientific field and be in a laboratory. I myself made the decision after I finished my master thesis 19 years ago to start as a salesperson at Kaijin. Yeah, I lived in China, I lived in Singapore, I developed sales, I managed teams there. I moved back and joined bioMérieux. The last 3 years I have been with Eppendorf, also a great company. I think it resonates to everyone also who has worked in the laboratory, these kind of brands somehow. And then this is also where people always ask me, why do you do these kind of things? So, yeah, you have a good life in Germany. Eppendorf is a very conservative company, great brand name. Why do you need to go to Estonia and join a company like Solis Biodyne? And this is where I said you need to. That's my advice is to listen a little bit what you like and where you are coming from. And I'm coming from the diagnostic field, and I'm coming really from this area where we work with enzymes, where we work diagnostic solutions. Not only COVID. COVID is one cornerstone at the moment, a very popular one. But this is where I found a new opportunity and also a new way to apply my scientific background. And still, I'm not every day reading scientific books. We were joking. I'm actually placed the laptop to be visible on a pile of genes and genomic of plants books to have a better view. I'm not studying these books every day, but the knowledge I have acquired and learned for a long time it still helps me to understand the industry and also to make an impact here. Yeah, this a little bit about myself. Important maybe for you also to get a little bit of an idea, like the other speakers did. What are we doing? As I said or touched already, Solus Biodyne is more and more known in the market for very solid products in the PCR enzyme field. Yeah, it could be classical PCR products, it could be reverse transcription or cybergreen qPCR based products. This is one thing. What we focus more and where really our strength is in Solus Biodyne is to design together and for customers solutions in the laboratory. And this is what is unique or very unique on a global scale, because the big companies you have seen or I have mentioned previously, they don't do that anymore. They lost a little bit their ability to be that flexible with customers or to develop something with customers together. And that's what makes us very, very unique at Solus Biodyne. Plus, we also developed, not we, one of the co-founder, and long-term owner, he developed by accident, and as we speak here to scientists, he developed a stability tech 27 years ago by, as probably rings a bell to the one or the other person here, some scientists are quite messy. They don't like to really clean up their benches, their laboratories. So he forgot a couple of experiments on his bench in his laboratory. And then he figured out a week or a little bit later, wait a second, something is happening here with one of my old experiments. I don't throw it away. And this is how the stability tech for our enzymes, for all of our products, for example, was discovered. And the stability tech enables that you do not need to, for example, nowadays ship most of the enzyme products on dry ice, which is good for the environment, but also good for the pocket, because dry ice shipment is very, very expensive. And based on these kind of growth and these kind of opportunities, we offered also here based on the products we have in the market. Also, we have during the last 4 or 5 years always a development that we can say every year we had twice as many employees as in the year before. Nowadays, we have a little bit more than 70 people. And also here, people then ask, well, what are these? What are these people? In your company? And half of our people, they work in a laboratory. Either in quality, in production, in logistics, for kit production. MGI, for example, is also one of our devices we use here. This is where industries overlap, and we have other big amount of people who works in the research and development on different products and projects we would like to bring to the market. And only let's say 40% of our people are not attached to the laboratory, and from these 40% of the people who are not attached to the laboratory, most of them, our sales head, our sales people, some marketing people, not all, me myself, we have all these kind of scientific background where we bring this in another business area to a different kind of skill set. And when you also ask why to join us, and this is the question also to you, why joining us? If there's interest and you find it interesting to look up our homepage and browse through the career options, it's very simple. That we have options to apply to all of the different skills and different kind of, let's say, requirements, or what people really would like to do with their research background in different ways. And I think that makes also the work very, very interesting to have this diversity, I would say. Quickly, as I said, and this is also what is again a big and important point from our side, is when we look into why are we unique. And this is the thing also, as a company, you need to have something unique. And this is where we have the room temperature stability, where customers globally in more than 110 countries, they really validate our products high based on these features. Then that we are able to adjust and develop on personalized projects. And of course, nowadays, also due to COVID, we were forced, and that's where I come back to my initial point, people who are able to adjust, to think out of the box and to do something differently and not just apply a protocol. Here we also had to rethink ourselves during COVID. How can we make the next step, and how can we also change our production scale without affecting our current business too much? And this is also what we developed and learned a lot during the last 1.5 years. And with this, I give back to Martins.
Stefan, thank you. Thank you very much for your story and your presentation. We have a question for you. I'm just looking at it. Oh, okay. When cooperating with the academic sector, can you name maybe 3 critical points that are crucial for the smooth running of the cooperation and that the university should fulfill?
Yeah, the question is now from a company perspective or from an overall, let's say, interaction perspective. Let me see or answer how I understood. I mean, to work with an academic environment is always a little bit different, because in an academic environment everything is much slower in terms of project development, for example. Very often in terms of the regulatory hurdles behind it, then there are tenders, and then there are negotiations. And when it comes to interacting with academics, it's very, very important to keep in mind that there are always different parties involved, and there are a lot of people, different stakeholders that need to be included to get things done, if you would like to do things faster, or at least have the ability to accelerate. Yeah.
Okay, Stefan, thank you very much once again that you had the time and for joining us and for your presentation. Stefan Goldenbaum was the speaker. He is CEO of Solis Biodyne, and he shared his experience and he told more about Solis Biodyne. So let's move on, and the next speaker is Imants Zudans. He is CEO of Molport LLC. I can see Imants. I hope that Imants can hear us, and I can hear, I think, Imants as well. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Let me share the screen. First, thank you, organizers, for the opportunity to introduce this wonderful audience to Molport, an intelligent compound ordering platform that we are building here in Riga, Latvia, and to share some of the lessons I learned while building it. It's really nice to go after Stefan and other speakers from different directions. Very interesting discussion. Hopefully I'll be able to contribute something interesting also to it. maybe let me dive in first. Oops, that went through a lot of slides. So at Moport, we have developed a simpler, smarter compound buying. And we did that by combining trusted supplier catalogs, search that works for chemistry, and intelligent fulfillment system to turn a fragmented market into an easy to access data-driven marketplace accessed via a single intelligent and responsive platform. For your research, Moport offers screening compounds, compound libraries, and building blocks from leading suppliers, as well as reliable and innovative niche suppliers around the world. With a little bit formal introduction done, it has been a 15-year journey for the company and for myself also. It was interesting to hear how Stefan was showing us the choices one has after graduating or after finishing postdoc. Really, I remember how in grad school they were taught there are 3 career tracks. There is one is a corporate track, one is a government track, and the third is academic track. I chose the end, the corporate track, so to say, although very unusual one, joining a startup. I joined Moport straight after my 3-year postdoc assignment at the University of Pittsburgh. I had just returned to Latvia, having spent 8 years in the United States, and experienced firsthand how the e-commerce took off there. At the time, Moport was just being set up as a company. I have employee contract number 1. And you are here to learn. And while thinking of that, I will share with you some basic ideas I learned in past 15 years. And I hope some of them will be useful to you as well. Learning does not end at graduation. It transforms. I also think academia sometimes tend to be maybe slower. They have a different decision-making process that probably governs it. Learning has been something very important for the growth of Moport as a company, and also for my personal growth. As I said, I joined fresh after postdoc, and as the company is growing, it demands more and more skills from CEO. And if the company is growing fast, sometimes it's really difficult to keep up with the company. A CEO shouldn't become a bottleneck. Well, sometimes actually it happens that way. There is an old anecdote I heard in the lab that 2 weeks in the lab can save you 1 hour in the library. Moport is partially a software company, and to translate it to our environment, probably I could say that 2 weeks coding can save you from one customer interview. So the first lesson I want to share is that talking to the customer is very important. And the engineers and scientists tend to be maybe introverts, and it's easier maybe even to spend these 2 weeks in the lab somewhere at the bench, or in books, or in brainstorming sessions, or endless discussions about what exactly the product should look like. And none of that can substitute for talking to the customer. So talk to the customer if you join a company, and you always actually have a customer. It might be a funding agency, or corporate employer, or government employer. Second, there is a framework for that. What do I mean by that? We think we are dealing with unique problems that happen only to us. No one has faced them before. And that's partially true. No one has faced this particular problem I'm having maybe today or had yesterday, and I don't know how to solve it. However, the type of problem I might be facing probably has been faced by many people before. And it would be arrogant of me to think that I'm this only one who is facing this one. The good thing is that there are frameworks that people have found useful. There are frameworks for marketing, there are frameworks for drug discovery, there are frameworks for sales, and even for running a company. Probably a good place to start is to think what framework might apply here, what other people have done solving this problem. And maybe that's a good starting point for you as well, to understand deeper the problem and possibly find a solution quicker. And the last of these three I've chosen, experiment everywhere. And by that, I really mean everywhere. As a small company, we are experimenting not just with the product, not just with the website, with the service. We are experimenting with how we run the company, how we run meetings, how we plan projects. And so experimentation is really useful. And we and you, as scientists, this is something that we can use outside, and outside of the lab. And so I'll ask a provocative question, maybe. What's an underappreciated skill of a scientist? Something that I rarely see mentioned anywhere in these discussions. And it's actually very simple, the scientific method. And I've had so many discussions with people in business about this experimentation I brought up. People tend to have ideas. Hey, I want to do this. This product sounds great. This way to approach new clients sounds good. How about testing that? And then they have these big eyes. What do you mean, Iman, testing it? And the scientific method, by that I mean asking a question, stating hypothesis essentially, looking for a way how to prove it or disprove it, and then getting on to do it, and then at the end looking at results. Do we prove it? Is it inconclusive? Or do we need to refine the experiment, just like we do in the lab, and try again better next time to get more definite answer? So this is something that a scientist can bring to the company. It's natural. We've been trained to do this. And it feels like it's not a big deal to us. However, this is something very, very valuable that scientists can bring to any company, even if they end up working outside of science, as I've actually been interviewed as I was graduating 15 years ago. Many of the positions I was offered were not actually, or interviewed, were not actually science positions. In wrapping up my talk, it's probably shorter than it could be, and I wrote this slide as a suggestion for a grad school curriculum. There are skills I wish I had some training in before I started the company, and large multinational corporations provide this training internally. Usually if you choose some management track, or even if you go in scientific track, then you get some basic training in certain topics that were not taught in grad school. And these skills are equally valuable for academic career track as a corporate, in my point of view. And I think these are project management, budgeting, even some basic budgeting, understanding what does it mean to run a lab, academic lab or corporate lab, managing, and by that I mean managing people, working with people as colleagues, as a team leader, as a CEO, and finally writing. These four skills I have had to train myself constantly to improve. For management, I highly recommend this Andrew Grove book, High Output Management, and I can recommend books also for the other topics if you get in touch with me after the talk. Budgeting, everyone in the company should understand basics of the budget. And certainly I, as a postdoc, I wish I had understood the budget of a research group a little bit better. I might have made some purchasing decisions slightly differently, knowing a bit more about money. And project management is certainly a critical skill that I think is way underrated in academic setting. It's not given enough maybe attention, and grad students are free, right? And they only their time is spent graduating not in 5 years but in 7 years. So I think that by better defining projects and managing them in academia, also people would be better trained to work in companies. They would be more successful, certainly. And these are topics that some universities actually have in their curriculum, but they in some other departments taught. So you might need to attend some lectures outside of your department, and they can also be learned books or take some courses. Highly recommend. And with that, that's all I wanted to share with you. Feel free to contact me about starting a career in a startup, or purchasing compounds or career opportunities at Molport. Thank you.
Great, Imants, thank you very much for your story and your presentation. I think when some of the viewers will get asked what are the underappreciated skill of a scientist, then we will know the scientific method. Since the time is flying by really, really fast, unfortunately, I can't ask Imants any questions at the moment, but once again, Imants, thank you very much, CEO of Molport LLC. Before we go to the next speaker, I would like to point out that the next question in the Slido will be, and it is, what factors are the most important for you to consider a career in industry? So please go to this Slido platform and answer what are your thoughts of these factors that are the most important for you to consider a career in the industry. And here we can see all these answers: salary, prestige, flexible working time, networking and travel, company car and cell phone, career opportunities, also vivid social life, and also dynamic work environment. So please go to Slido and answer the question. The next speaker, we will have Thomas Evangelidis. He is the founder, CEO, and CSO of the company AIfinity. Thomas, welcome. Nice to meet you. And
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I hope you can hear me loud and clear, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. So let me go ahead and share my screen then.
Great, we can see it. Thank you.
Wonderful. So I'm Thomas Evangelidis. I'm representing today an infant company named AIfinity, which started operations literally 2 weeks ago, and particularly in the field of drug design and NMR structure determination using mainly artificial intelligence. We are interested in the early stages of drug discovery. And as you can see at the bottom, I show you the several stages of drug development process. It's a long path of potential drugs to the market. We're interested in basic research and drug discovery, where it's very important to have established an experimental binding assay and screen thousands or millions of compounds, which is very costly and can cost between $1 to $4 million. If we break down the steps of basic research and drug discovery, shown at the plot above, starting from identifying the disease, isolating the protein, discovering new lead compounds, and entering the preclinical testing, we provide software solutions that address 3D structure determination of proteins, either in the apoform or in complex with compounds, in silico screening for hit identification, and finally, software for lead optimization. And in this slide, I'm gonna give some more extra details about these 3 fields of operation of the company. First of all, I want to point out that apart from licensing software, we also do contract-based research as CRO. The first area is hit identification. It's the first stage of drug discovery where we seek to identify ligands in large chemical libraries. The second area is lead optimization, which is the process of improving the potency, selectivity, and physicochemical properties of these ligands that we have identified for further in vitro and in vivo testing. And finally, NMR, which is a versatile experimental technique that measures the structure and dynamics of proteins in their natural environment, namely in solution, as well as their binding thereof with small molecules or other proteins. I'm sorry for many scientific details in this slide. I just want to show you the flagship algorithm of our company, which is deep scaffold. This deep scaffold has gained world recognition and was acknowledged as the top ligand-based method for affinity ranking the latest D3R Grand Challenge. These challenges are worldwide competitions where they participate research groups and companies from all over the world with their own algorithms and methods for affinity prediction. And the aim there is to predict correct binding affinities for a set of test compounds provided by the organizers. So in this picture, I try to portray deep scaffold as a weapon because we frequently say that we target proteins. So I like to portray it as a missile, which consists of the main engine, which is essentially a feed-forward neural network, highly specialized for binding affinity prediction. And this main engine can be attached to any other neural networks or any other molecular representations, which we call warheads. Can be fingerprints, molecular convolutional graphs, or pharmacophore fingerprints, connected graphs, etc. On the hit identification front, we develop, still it's under development, a version of deep scaffold, which is called deep hit miner, and it's suitable for classification of molecules into actives and inactives. Deep hit miner is specifically designed for virtual screening of large chemical libraries to identify new hit compounds. However, it's a deep learning algorithm, so it requires training data, which are not always available. That's why in our company, we developed in parallel and optimized docking scoring functions using machine learning and our own molecular representation. These docking scoring functions, they do not require prior known data, so they can be used for new targets. And finally, on the structural biology front, there are mainly 4 techniques to solve the structure of proteins. These are the electron microscopy, which has gained a great popularity in the last years. However, it's still suitable for rather medium to large size proteins, and it provides in average medium to low resolution structures. Then we have X-ray scattering, which provides very good structures under the conditions that they crystallize, which is not always the case. Then we have small angle X-ray scattering, which provides low resolution structures. And finally, NMR, which stands for nuclear magnetic resonance. NMR has several advantages. First of all, it is a method that studies the proteins in their natural environment, namely solution. They don't need to be frozen or attached to a surface and assume some artificial phase. That's why, apart from the structure, the 3-dimensional structure, we can also obtain information about the dynamics of the protein and the mechanism of action of the protein. But we can also analyze interactions between the protein and other molecules, either small molecules like ligands or peptides or other proteins. The main weaknesses of NMR is firstly the size limit. NMR is more suitable for small to medium-sized proteins. And finally, the nature of NMR. It requires a lot of experiments, which result to complicated spectra that require a lot of human expertise and a lot of human inputs to be analyzed. That's why NMR is not the most popular structural biology method among scientists. However, with recent advancements in material sciences with the new superconducting materials and the strongest magnets with higher magnetic fields, the sensitivity and resolution of the method has been increased. So we think this provides a fertile ground for new algorithms based on artificial intelligence like ours. We published our first algorithm for structure determination back in 2018 in Nature. This required 2 4-dimensional spectra to do the chemical shift assignment. We established a protocol that took 3 to 4 weeks to solve the structure, including experimental time. And the chemical shift assignment steps and structure determinations were pretty much automated. Because we use higher resolution spectra, we were able to solve structures of larger size than traditional 3D NMR. Namely for structures up to 250 amino acids or otherwise 30 kilodalton size. These all features altogether, they reduce the experimental time, they reduce the costs, and widened the applicability domain of the NMR. We currently develop the new version of the software in our company, which is based on AI and requires only a single spectrum. And that will dramatically reduce the experimental time and thus the costs. And we hope that it will make NMR more popular. Apart from the aforementioned algorithms and software that I mentioned, we also have a few others in the pipeline. For example, we have an algorithm for off-target prediction, which is in the very early stages. We have algorithms for NMR, the one I mentioned in the previous slide, which requires only one spectrum, hit identification, either based on deep learning on our docking scoring functions. These are in the development phase. They're not ready to be used. But we have, for lead optimization, a first pre-release phase of our algorithm, Deep Scaffold, which is suitable for internal usage. And finally, we have the first version of our NMR software, which is ready to be distributed to the customers. And I would like to close my presentation by presenting the team, the current team. I am the executive of the company and also a lead software developer. I program a lot. With programming, they help me also, Maria and David. Maria is finishing her PhD and David is starting his PhD. Professor Thomas Brasdil, he's the software development supervisor, and he also programs sometimes. Dr. Jerzy Filipovic, he's a scientific advisor and also part-time programmer in the field of machine learning. Pavel Polishchuk, he is a scientific advisor in drug design. And finally, Václav Veverka and Karel Kubicek, they are scientific advisors in NMR. As you may have noticed, we have a lot of advisors, which they participate in our regular development meetings, and together we draw the strategy of the company, but we still lack scientific programmers. That's why we're always interested in bright and highly motivated coworkers or new collaborations with other companies or academic laboratories. For more information, please check out our website at aiaffinity.com. Thank you.
Thomas, thank you very much for your story and presentation. It was nice to see the whole team of your company. That's very nice. Thanks, Thomas. We have one question. Would you be interested in admitting a PhD student to your company for an internship or participating in his doctoral studies?
Yes, of course. We, as a company, we sponsor doctoral studies in collaboration with universities. And yes, we're also interested in master students as well and postdocs. The PhD student can find more information on our website. We have a job advertisement where we list all the details and how he can proceed, how he can contact us, she can contact us, etc.
Okay, I think that's it for today. Thomas, thanks for finding the time to be with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thomas Evangelidis, founder, CEO, and CSO of AIfinity. Thank you very, very much. Our next speaker is Ansi Spex, who is Head of Development, Project Management Unit at JSC Åland Farm. Ansi, hello, good evening, or should I say welcome, or good evening? Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, all online, and it's a pleasure to represent Åland Farm here. Thank you for inviting. Just to check if you can see my presentation. Can you see it? See it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Shortly about myself, I'm in company a little bit over than 6 years, and I'm head of project management unit, and basically is also involved in strategic project management, evaluation, and coordination. Lately, also new products, involvement in selection new products, and coordination of development, etc. A little bit about Åland Farm, and I should start with Åland Farm Group. So what is JSC Åland Farm? One is one of the leading pharmaceutical producer, medicines, APIs, intermediates. Also, what we have in our group is Sylvanos, producer of food supplements, medical devices. Also, I want to mention Tonus Elast, elastic and compression materials. 3 companies, producers, and additionally Biotest herbal treatments, producer of herbal, let's say, products. Also, what we have in Latvia, pharmacy chain, Latvijas Aptekas, and 2 clinics with, let's say, services in healthcare and diagnostics. If we focus to pharmaceuticals, Online Farm, let's say, company is, let's say, celebrated 50 years. We are 50 years producing medicines and chemicals. What we currently have, we have over 60 final dosage forms and 25 APIs. Our main focus areas is nervous system, allergies, antibacterials, and cardiology. If we look historically, our main, let's say, contributors in our portfolio are developed quite a long time ago. But in near future, our focus is expanding our portfolio, focusing on generics, branded generics, generic medicines. Regarding our markets, it's more than 60 countries. Focus and main markets are Russia and other CIS countries, but also we are delivering products to Australia, North America, and Asia. What is our, let's say, benefit, what we're considering? We are producing starting from intermediates, APIs, and the final dosage form contribution to the market, to healthcare, and to people. Regarding team, more than 1,000, it's just Online Farm. Whole group, it's more than 2,000 employees. And regarding Online Farm, we have international environment. We have colleagues from Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, and also from China. And it's not counting our affiliates in our key markets. As I said, focus on new products. It's our goal, and it's one of the topics in this presentation. But regarding Online Farm, as I said, vertical integration, what we start is starting from research, development of products, manufacturing, also distribution and marketing. Starting from scratch, raw materials, and delivering to pharmacy chains. Shortly, main what I wanted to point out in here is we are located 25 kilometers from Riga, Latvia. We are short distance from city center, from capital of Riga, and let's say even shorter to the airport, and its infrastructure is quite good. Additionally, what I wanted to point out that we are strictly, say, regulated, and of course we have all certification, and we are working in compliance with GMP and ISO certification, and of course regarding markets, additional demands, requirements, etc. As you can see in pictures, investments made already quite much in manufacturing. Also in near future is the same planet. A little bit about our team in Online Farm. As I said, affiliates in Russia, Belarus, other CIS markets. As you can see, quite many countries, and also what we are working in other markets is contract agents. Daily life in Online Farm is quite interesting because colleagues from all countries sometimes comes together, and nowadays it's quite simple and discussing all kind of topics. About Online Farm in future, what is our vision? Our vision is to become a top 10 Central and Eastern European manufacturing companies. Let's say quite ambitious target and aim and vision, but what we have to do and what is our plan, one is geographic expansion, and of course product portfolio development. Regarding geographic expansion, there are quite much of opportunities, especially Europe. Regarding product portfolio, it's, let's say, our play field, our work where we need to work towards, and where the needs comes to. As I said, one topic, new products, this is new laboratories. What we have currently, we have R&D department, around 70 employees. And to achieve those goals, what we see, one topic is collaboration with research organizations, with CROs. And another one, what we want to expand our R&D laboratories. It's not only infrastructure, not only equipment, but also employees. Let's say all in all fields. What we are currently looking toward. Product development, and also what it comes together is new production lines. When products are developed, what we see is investments in near future, new production lines, and of course, one of the topics and the goals in Europe, it's digitalization. Digitalization, and it's not mentioned here, of course, energy efficiency. That's additional topics in our minds, how to work more effectively. When it comes to employees, as I said, international working environment, and I think it's just can widen. It will just grow, and not only from Latvia, but also from other countries. We have experience also with European students. What we have currently, we work together with research organizations already on product development, product-related studies, and clinical, preclinical trials focus towards bringing products to market. Collaboration with universities, yes, internships, scholarships, as I said, exchange programs, if there is a, let's say, will, of course, evaluated, and what is the scope, what is the target, and locally, there's opportunity for co-financing studies. As I said before, expanding our R&D department, and not only medical affairs, regulatory, and quality assurance also, and near future, and also currently we are recruiting. If there are ideas, want experience in industry, you are welcome. There is the email down there. And shortly, of course, in the last slide, my contact information also. To conclude, I am 6 years part of this, and you can also be part of this, and with Online Farm to deliver added value products to the market, final dosage forms, medicines, also chemical products worldwide. But shortly about it, if there are any questions.
Ansis, thank you very much for this overview of the JSC Online Farm. Thank you very much for your story and presentation. Once again, I think we have learned quite a lot about Online Farm, and I wish you an amazing evening. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now let's go to Slido question. It was question number 2, and we asked, what factors are the most important for you to consider career in industry? Quite a lot of answers and options, and very good first place. I can see that 82% think that salary is the most important factor to consider a career in industry. However, company car and cell phone received 0%. So no one actually thinks that this is the key element whether to choose this option in some career. So the second is career opportunities, of course, 74%, and flexible working time, 51%. I think flexibility has been highlighted these last 2 years with this COVID situation and working from home. So I'm not surprised that this is actually in the top 3. So once again, viewers, thank you very much for joining us in Slido and answering these questions. We will have the third question in a few minutes, but in the meantime, you can, if you haven't, you can join at slido.com and write there hashtag Alliance for Life dash actions, and you will find these questions there. So we have to move forward, and our next speaker is Vitalijs Skrivelis, who is owner at Farm Idea LLC. Vitalijs, I can see you. I hope you can hear me, and I think I can hear you as well, because you aren't on mute. So welcome, and have a good presentation.
Okay. Thank you for possibility to participate in this conference and talk indirectly with young scientists. I am owner and chief executive officer of pharmaceutical company Farm Idea in Latvia. We are specialized company. Possibly, please, next slide. We specialize only in development and manufacturing sterile hospital drugs, which is in vials or in ampoules. And our vision and also our mission is to ensure availability of premium quality life-saving drugs for hospitals for as many patients in as many countries as possible. Next slide, please. Describing what we are, because we are a pharmaceutical company, we are good manufacturing practice certified from different countries, altogether some 20, and we are internationally presented. We are selling already in 50 countries, and besides manufacturing, by culture, we are developers of products and also manufacturers. Less marketing people. Therefore, marketing, we are looking for local partners in different countries, and our focus are on 3 therapeutic classes: anti-cancer, hospital gynecology, and emergency care drugs. Next slide, please. And how we are doing what technologies we use. Actually, for sterile drugs, it's very complicated to manufacture and maintain every day high quality standards to assure that each vial which we manufacture is sterile with less endotoxins and with a needed quantity of active ingredients inside. Therefore, we use isolator technology, which ensures that our operators and our specialists are protected from products, because you could know that chemotherapy products for cancer treatment, it's not easy drugs, it's rather potent. And in the same time, we protect the product from the human interaction, and isolator means that everything is done through the gloves. Very safe, very reliable, but also rather complicated technology, which need good skills for product development. Next slide, please. If we're talking about our main business activities, and nowadays we are 100 people, and last year 8 million euro sales and growing every year, but we are active in three fields. First of all, our bread is development and manufacturing after patent drugs, because it's doable, it's not needed very expensive clinical trials. And as I said, we focus on life-saving drugs for hospitals and anti-cancer medication. Second, our direction is to contract development of sterile formulation, and we decided to concentrate on two areas. First of all, long-acting anti-cancer drugs with a rather new concept, and I will show you in next slide that it's even intratumoral injectable drugs where chemotherapy agent is distributed very locally and kill drugs very locally, not putting rather potent and sometimes poisoning anti-cancer drugs systemically through the vein and bloodstream. And second is directions that we offer our services for those biotech companies and pharma companies who do repurposing of their products, their molecules in their product portfolio. What that means? For example, I cannot share here as the slides, but I could tell in words because it's confidential project. But one Swedish biotech company approached us. They found in 5 years neurological investigation by scientists, they found that one of anti-cancer molecules very well work in ischemic stroke. And how it's done? This molecule restore integrity of blood-brain barrier, and in the same time, in such way, increase the potential survive patients with a higher rate of or lower rate of neurological disability, because by such way we decrease inflammatory process in brain where is a clot of blood. So, and third direction, which is connected to the second one, is development and manufacturing of small batch sizes of freeze-dried products and liquid injectables, particularly for clinical trials. These two, contract development and clinical trial batches, is interconnected. It's request a lot of developments and research. And in our 100-people team, 10 specialists working in R&D lab. And every year, frankly speaking, we increase number of specialists working in lab because we need more analytics. We need more specialized development technologists. And this is a field where we would be happy to see the late courses students, master degree students, and even doctoral degree young people. Next slide, please. What about long-acting and intratumoral? What is interesting that carrier of this technology, there are a lot of them, different. But together with one Swedish company, we choose to use very simple material as a carrier. It's a gypsum or calcium sulfate. It's become hard, but it's also biodegradable in the body, and you could inject it directly to tumor. And it's within 4 to 6 months, it's biodegraded and release active ingredient. This is one of the very, very promising directions in our, let's say, technology portfolio. We even are thinking about within 2 to 3 years after successful several clinical trials of 3 molecules to establish new production site for such technology. Next slide, please. To be why the life of Inform Idea is how to say dynamic, intensive. It's not boring, because international presence. First of all, we have to register our products. It's mandatory, but also we have to prove our production and even development quality and standards to different authorities worldwide. And these are just most important for us, which we pass direct inspections in our site in nearby the Riga, 2,000 square meter site with two filling lines and 1 laboratory. In 2014 from Turkey, in 2016 from South Korea, in 2017 Saudi Arabia, and Russia and far Southeast Asia and Far East. Of course, during the pandemic, some auditing and inspection slowed down because physical limitation to travel and a little bit scary. Go abroad and catch maybe some COVID virus in airports. Then next slide, it shows that our current geographic could go ahead because it's I believe it's animation. 2 more steps, yeah, 1 more. Yeah, in different stages, we are in different markets. Somewhere we are already selling in red, somewhere nearby we will finish registration, and green one is just started. So yeah, and last slide is my contact. I am a member of the board and chief executive officer. If you are interested in a career as a scientist, as technologist, as analytical specialist, I would be happy to receive your interest, and then we could talk. Because as I said, yes, we are not huge, but every year 2-3 young people we add to our team, and there is career possibility, maybe not very much hierarchy, but it's a career that in such size of company as we are, you could get a multitasking and broad spectrum of competencies, which in future life will increase your value as a pharma specialist. You could be in development, you could train also quality assurance issues, which is now with manufacturing of artificial vaccines, so much GMP specialists are requested in Europe. You could amaze how much, and in USA as well. And yeah, and also get also some managerial positions or go to the business development and new directions. From my side, that would be all. I leave some couple of minutes for questions if there are.
Yes, Vitalis, thank you very much. And we have a question, quick question regarding orphan drugs. Among others, you listed your expertise in orphan drugs. There is this information on the webpage. Could you please elaborate on your activities in this field?
No, this is development activities. Orphan drugs, that means that it's rare disease drugs where is needed not big amount of product. It's not a commodity products like paracetamol or ibuprofen or lidocaine for dentists. Yeah, and this is our specialization. Therefore, we could offer such service for development and also for manufacturing of orphan drugs. Plus, our isolator lines are equipped with cooling, and therefore we will be already we are capable to manufacture also biotech origin drugs, which are room temperature sensitive, and most of them biotech drugs start as orphan drugs to either getting to the market and then they become a bigger one. Martin, I didn't hear you.
I was on mute. I was muted. Sorry. Vitalis, as I said, thank you very much for your answer, and thank you as well for the story and your presentation about PharmIdea. Vitalis Skrivels, owner of PharmIdea LLC. Now we are here with the last speaker of our session, who is Zuzana Yorova, and she's marketing and sales manager at the company Oncom Manufacturing AS. Zuzana, welcome. Good afternoon, and please, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity to present here. I will hopefully share with you the screen, the presentation. I hope you can see it now.
Yes, everything's good. Thank you.
Perfect. As in the last one, I tried to make the presentation as short as possible because I know everybody is already a bit tired. So thank you very much for opportunity to present our company called Oncom Manufacturing, which is a CDMO that specializes in manufacturing of oncological drugs. We were founded in 2010. However, we have the experience of 40 years with high potent APIs injectables because the company was established after Plivala Chema site was shut down. And we were acquired by a company called Medac, which is a German pharmaceutical company, and it's our mother company. We are located in Brno, in Czech Republic, which is the second biggest city after Prague. And in 10 years, we were able to acquire more than 200 employees, which I think it's quite a successful journey during 10 years that we were able to grow from a really small company of 10 people to a company to a mid-sized company. So we are, as I mentioned, we are contact development and manufacturing organization specialized in aseptic processing of oncologic injectables in a clinical and commercial scale. We deliver drugs with the high potent and cytotoxic characteristics to fight the cancer worldwide, which means all worldwide. We deliver to Europe and to America. These are just a few of our niche technologies that we are able to offer and that we are working with. We are able to handle organic solvents, which is a very unique feature by using unique developed processes and upgraded equipment accessories, which allows us to process organic solvents also in a freeze-dried form. We also use single-use systems that help with that prevent a cross-contamination of small molecules and biomolecules. And also we are able to handle high potent APIs and sensitive APIs. From our portfolio, as I mentioned, currently we are only manufacturing injectables in form of vials. However, we launched a new project with the new line number 3 that will be also producing syringes and cartridges. We are producing in both liquid and liquid terminally sterilized formulations, and also we are able to make the product freeze-dried. We do small and large scale production. We have customers from large pharmaceutical companies to small pharmaceutical companies, and also currently we have 2 running projects with universities that developed the drug formulation, and now we are helping them in a phase 1. Just very shortly and briefly about our production lines. We have 2 lines currently. The first one is a clean room concept that allows us to produce batches from 10 to 1,000 liters using the stainless steel concept technology. This line features 2 freeze dryers of 17 square meters, and the vial volumes range between 1 milliliter to 200 milliliters. The second line uses the isolator concept and allows us to produce batches from 2 to 1,000 liters using as well stainless steel concept, but in this case also using a single-use system technology that I was mentioning before. This one features only 1 freeze dryer with the 12 square meters capacity and a dual systems cooling system with the solvent separator. Those 2 lines are able to produce up to 4 million batches per year. The third line that is in the progress will be focused on a production of syringes and cartridges. The capacity of the line will be more than 100 million syringes and cartridges per year, and we will be able to produce in volumes from 1 liter to 500 liters. The syringe or the cartridges filling volumes will range from 0.0 milliliters to 12 milliliters. This is also why basically I'm here, because this new project of line 3 and also that capability for participating in various projects with the pharmaceutical companies and with universities give us several opportunities. that you are free to check on our webpage at oncomet.cz. We are open to manufacturing projects, both with the universities, with the CROs, to help them with the phase 1 to phase 4. We are also, we have several open positions, mainly on a quality department and also in our technological side. And we are also providing, we have several internship positions that are currently listed on our web pages that could be interesting for students, not just from Czech Republic, because in this digital age, we are also able to handle the internships online. If you have any other questions, or if you have any any other requires that you would like to ask us, then you can definitely send me email, or you can also contact my colleague Alešima, who is the head of business development. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed this block of us showing our companies.
Zuzana, thank you very much for your presentation. We actually have a couple of questions in the Slido platform. First, we would like to ask, what do you search primarily? The expertise, the unique instrumentation, a finished idea, for example, know-how, patented IP, etc., or a mixture of all of the above? Can you maybe answer this?
That very much depends what would be the finished idea. Like, as I said, the companies come to us usually with already the finished ideas, with the prepared projects. But for example, with the university, we are able to help them also with the implementation. So now we are working with them on the stability studies. We are helping them with basically with all the features that require production, that are required how to get them to the phase 1, also with the marketing, and we are also able to assure them with the grants that the Czech Republic is sponsoring. However, I think this one is only for Czech universities, because the grants usually are only for Czech companies and Czech universities here.
Okay, thank you, Zuzana. And one other question: do you work on molecules from plant sources or just chemically synthesized molecules?
Only chemically synthesized.
Okay, I think that's it for the questions right now. So, Zuzana, thank you very much for your presentation and story. Zuzana Yorova, Marketing and Sales Manager at Oncomet Manufacturing AS. Okay, that's it for the pitches of industry to ESRs. Thank you all for your presentations. Thank you for watching. I hope that PhD students who are here now will now consider maybe possible career options and opportunities at one of these companies. Now, I would like once again to say about, basically ask a question in the Slido. Which career model provides higher job satisfaction for a scientist? This is a very good one. So please feel free to join this Slido platform. You can write slido.com, and there you will find this Alliance for Life event with this question as well. And there are basically two answers, industrial or academic. And I like that people are already answering. Okay, so this was the last question at the Slido. We will now have a small coffee break. And right after that at 3:30 p.m. So it is 32 minutes to be specific Central Time. We will have the last session of the day, which will be pitches of Alliance for Life's members to industry and ESRs. This session is aimed at connecting Alliance for Life's members, member institutions and universities with industrial partners. So this will come up after almost 30 minutes, so 3:30. Let's have a coffee and meet then. And also after the coffee break, we will look at the answers for this Slido question. So let's have a break and see you in a few minutes. Thank you.